So, all are struggling with breath, huh? No shame, we all do it at times. But there's a few things we can change based on the start of pulls. There's my opinion is to just go in with brute force, being faster than everyone else in the group, more or less. Just picking up ads along the way, and a few things to consider. At the start of a pull is when you're going to be at your weakest, because you're not leeching, you don't have any rage, you don't have anything running to mitigate the damage taken. So you want to be ready to press anything needed. Last stand is a perfect option, but you can also pre-press things such as like reflect, which should be perfect in a scenario like this one. So I've got some of start pulls in Ruby, which I probably find the hardest myself, is what I'm going to talk about now, and I'm just progressively taking pack by pack. Example, I'm starting with these two and make sure to have something done on them. I could do that better, and I press reflect to begin with. I'm going to take it from the start. I'm charging in and I'm shield slamming the first guy insta, and I also actually I'm not, I'm lying, thunderclap. That way it works, but if you use thunderclap on the first one, it means that you won't have it for the next one. There's 3 packs here. So I would usually, if you want to go safe, I would shield slam and revenge the other guy, or shield slam and revenge the other guy. And then maybe shield slam again if it procs. Or no, that's the way to do it. Then you charge into the next pack, and then I would thunderclap that. Now I thunderclap, go into the next pack, and since I'm ahead, they shouldn't be running towards anyone else. I also press spell effect, because I know there's a bolt coming within 5 seconds, unless I kick that one, but I'm not. And I thunderous roared a bit too early. I would not recommend doing it like this at all. This was just one hectic way. But just make sure you pick everything up, and I would recommend saving a AoE taunt for the next pull, because you've got 3 whelps scattering around there. And that's this. I usually start off with charging the left side. This is no casters, no anything. These, you just have to attack them and they'll follow you. And then I taunt this guy, or I either taunt or heroic throw it. And I AoE taunted there because they were running for other people insta. If you're not AoE taunting, I would recommend doing this slower, but the slower you do it, the more uneven the mob's HP are gonna be, and you lose some time. You want to get pulls done as fast as possible. Something that also helps is threat. And you can see how much I'm actually jumping at the start of pulls. Like, don't turn your back towards mobs. I'm charging in and turning insta. I might have actually gotten a hit in the back there, but in general it should not happen. And here I am getting hit in the back, but that's why I'm backpedaling past him. I'm reflecting and I'm stunning. Shield charge is another great way of just gaining immediate threat, and I'm getting hit there, but it happens, right? You also can pre-mitigate things, like here, if you're really struggling here. No, not this one. I wouldn't recommend using spellbook here. I would recommend using it on the first pull, and then again on the third one, which is a bit naughty. Since there's 3 casters, we usually lost that over behind this pillar, but I can't pull this one because the juggernaut is close by. So I'm just pulling them, and I'm going to kick, but you can also heroic throw, and then LOS. The usual nasty thing about this is that one of the guys is going to cast a shield on the Earthshaper, and you're gonna have to stun both to get it stopped if it's got its shield on it. You can stun whilst it's got the shield on it, as long as it's still casting, pinning in the chill we were after. Another nasty thing here is the whelps. They're just gonna fly around unless you've got a fresh shield charge or a thunderclap to do. Take them one by one. And going to go to Court of Stars next, I believe. So And this is not necessarily a too difficult pull, but it's the same. It's 2 packs from 2 different sides. A Thunderclap, and I go into the next one. Thunderclap. And by jumping with Thunderclap, you increase the area of effect just slightly. Again, just keep them controlled, try to stack them as good as possible. This is SBG, and even though this is not in any way hard to pull, this is the very first pack, but whenever you get into these packs, you might think there's a lot of damage coming in. And first of all, the Shadow Moon Bonebender is going to cast Shadow Bolt on you instantly, so you can pop Reflect to mitigate that damage. Then again, another guy is going to Void Slash you instantly. I guess we don't know which one that is, but either you would stun that and stun the next one, or you can just pop Spell Block, which I should be doing. Yeah. And then, you know, it's basically like no damage coming in whatsoever. This was just a couple of pulls that I happened to have. Pick out definitely more ones, but what I want to say is take your time, go at your own pace. If you would have to stop here, you would just stop, Shield Slam the first guy, Shield Slam the second guy, well, Shield Slam Thunderclap, and then I would probably go to the next guy, Shield Slam the first, Shield Slam this one, and then go back a bit, Thunderclap the 2 others. But I pulled those already, that's why I didn't go back. Either you rely on someone else to kick that, or you've got to mitigate the damage, because it is going to hurt. But you could also shield charge him to stop the cast, because I already used my kick, for example. Another thing that can help a lot is having a mouse over taunt macro, meaning you don't have to switch targets. You would just have to mouse over its health bars and press the taunt. You cannot stop doing your normal rotation during this though, because then you're just gonna die, because you're not leeching, you're not gaining any rage, you're not doing anything. No, you're not gaining breath either. Because as soon as you're moving, you start also pressing other buttons. A few other things help, obviously, as having a rogue with Tricks of the Trade, which puts his threat currently over to you. Same with Hunters and Misdirect. Things such as monks are not that bad to deal with. Then again, there's no shame in losing threat either, not at all in my opinion. A good DPS should start DPSing as soon as the pull starts, and you should be able to hold threat ideally. Of course, there's pulls where this might not happen and you might not be able to. You gotta find a common spot, what works. Whatever time you need, you take that. It's not worth for anyone to dive for those few seconds. Just wait 1 more second and 2 more seconds to DPS, and then you're fine. But I should probably have made more about this into this video, but I think this is a rather good example how to do a pull. And worst case scenario, you can AoE taunt here and just go safer in the next one. But things such as kicks are gonna be rough if nobody's doing them for you. You know, something is free casting. I would not recommend kicking the very first guy unless you're planning to move the pack into the next pack. Then you do that, otherwise you don't. And since there's 3 angles, I'm playing this like a Pega to be honest, but since there's from 3 different places the packs are coming from here, it's a perfect spot for AoE taunt. Another bad thing about LOSing is the fact that if you just pull one guy and he drags the entire pack with him, you're gonna have some threat on one guy and 0 on the others. So you're gonna have to be the first guy to be out and thunderclap them all, or gain threat on them all, or AoE taunt or whatever. Otherwise, someone's gonna get insta-clap. It wasn't as much of an issue in general in Shadowlands, threat or start of pulls, partly because we had a way bigger AoE as warriors than we do now. I hope this video was helpful, and tell me what I should do differently or what you'd like to see next. Thanks.